Improving the quality of education has been a national priority for as long as most of us can remember. Yet the focus on curriculum, standards, and accountability has failed to address the most basic challenge of ensuring that children are physically, socially, and emotionally prepared to learn. Not so at the Thomas Gardner Extended Services School, a traditional urban elementary school located in Allston-Brighton, Massachusetts, an ethnically and culturally diverse section of Boston. The students at the Gardner face similar challenges to students in urban schools nationwide. Non-academic barriers to learning, such as poverty, abuse, poor access to health services, lack of nutrition, and language barriers. Many families struggle with lack of adequate housing and employment, yet the school is thriving. In 1998, the Gardner adopted the full-service or community school model, developed by the Children's Aid Society of New York. A full-service school provides whatever services children and families need. By supporting families and communities, full-service schools are able to address non-academic barriers to learning, helping children succeed. The Gardner Extended Services School, or GES for short, now includes a before school and an after school, health and mental health services, and evening classes for adults.
The idea of a seamless education is that when kids come in at 7:30 in the morning and they're here for the before school program, the communication happens between the before school program, the day school program, the after school program, and again back to the parent.
And the real Charles Walsh's love, and the twins.
I know the teachers in the after school, so I can tell them this child needs a little extra support here, or I don't want him or her to go to a club until he gets this done, just so that they get that extra support to help them in school.
What happens in the morning reinforces the Boston Public School curriculum. It's also reinforced in the afternoon. So a child is not only learning one way.
That's pretty powerful, isn't it?
In addition to homework assistance, students in the after school participate in 1 hour of academic enrichment each day. This curriculum reinforces what happens during the school day and includes topics that might not otherwise be covered, such as explorations of culture and environmental studies.
We then go into what we call clubs. These are different things that the teachers have. It's a skill. Someone wants to share with a child. It could be anything from cake decorating to karate to mask making to travel club. They go swimming at the YMCA. It's really whatever skill a teacher has that they want to share with a child.
Students from Boston College, Harvard, and other neighboring universities serve as tutors and mentors for children at the GES.
I'm there just to help them with anything they need, any problems they may have with their homework. I'm there for them. It's been a pleasure just to be here and make a difference in their lives, and in a way act as a role model, a positive role model, and make an impact on them, that will last with them forever.
So kids want to learn. They want to be in school. They can't wait for the next day so that they can get excited about learning something, whether it be in the morning, the day, or the evening.
Oh, you do? That's great, because actually Dr. Tuason really wants to talk to you. Yes, Dr. Tuason is she's the chief of pediatrics up at St. Elizabeth, but she's helping the program.
The Gardner is the only Boston public elementary school with an on-site health clinic.
At the clinic, well, if they need a physical, they can have it done here. If they need immunizations, we can do them through the clinic. If they're sick and they need, let's say they have strep or they have otitis media, any type of infection, what I do is I kind of triage them. I know that there's something wrong. When Emma comes in, then I make sure that those kids that need a prescription see her at that point. Have you ever had chest pains before? And what did your mother do?
I went to the doctor. I got like a machine that I put in my heart.
Yeah?
And I put like a green ball and I came home and I put it.
Wow, well, you're right. Okay, lay down, put your legs up. See what they found. So what bothered me was that it was irregular. You know, it could be a benign vertebra, that's fine. But you need to have it checked and make sure that it is.
A nurse practitioner works at the Gardner Clinic 5 days a week to provide on-site medical care for students and write prescriptions for common ailments such as strep throat and earaches.
You need to have it because it's one way to keep the parents at work. The parents need to work. They lose their jobs. If I call them, especially during winter time, your child has an earache and they can, you know, they have to leave work, get over here, take them to a doctor. Sometimes it takes them 2 or 3 days to get an appointment. Once they have an appointment and they have a prescription, and they might not have the money to buy that medication until Friday. So the child misses a week of school, the parent misses work and might lose it, and the child might have lost the eardrum by the time that they actually get the medication.
In addition to health services, the Gardner offers a wide variety of mental health services for children and families.
Okay, so let's think of what can we do next time? When he comes into your room and you yell at him, instead of yelling, what can you do?
Boston College provides mental health services here within the school through the work with interns. And we have someone from the School of Social Work to come out and supervise our students and to work collaboratively with the nurse and the social worker who are here in the school.
And after school I said that I was going to shoot someone. And then I got in trouble for it. And then I got counseling for that.
We have a lot of counseling groups, so the kids are able to express what happens if there's something that they need to let out. We have a program called Second Step where we talk a lot about dealing with conflict, dealing with impulsivity, anger.
Do you feel like the counseling's helped you?
Yeah.
Can you tell me how?
Because I haven't got suspended since I had counseling. I haven't gotten into any fights. I haven't bad talked anything like that.
We know that the problems exist, but the difference is we address those problems, is we're not saying that they don't exist. How can we make it so they realize that violence isn't the answer? That if you have a problem, the answer is not to bring out a gun and shoot them, but these are the other ways that you're going to handle that anger, handle that conflict, and not just push it aside.
I didn't think it was going to make such a big deal out of it. Now I know.
The 2 first programs we started with were an after-school program as well as ESL for parents. Originally, the community was brought into the school and we said, we need to find out what the need is in the community. What do parents want? What do they need for their kids and for themselves? As more parents got involved, especially through the after-school program, they started to tell us more about what they wanted. One was computers. They wanted to learn about technology. They wanted to be up to date on what's happening. How to use anything in the world all revolves around technology now, so they wanted to be up there too.
This full-service approach is possible through a unique collaboration the Gardner has formed with local businesses, agencies, and the neighboring university, Boston College. Principal Catalina Montez recognized that Boston College had a wealth of resources that could significantly enhance the lives of her students.
Today and tomorrow. Today is we need money. Tomorrow is doing all the things that get us in a good position.
Dr. Mary Walsh from the Lynch School of Education knew that the Gardner School could provide Boston College students and faculty with valuable opportunities for research and field experience. In 1997, Principal Montez collaborated with professors from Boston College on a grant from the DeWitt Wallace Reader's Digest Fund to transform the Gardner into a full-service school.
In that grant, they stated that they needed to have other agencies involved in that. They needed to have community agencies involved. That was how Alston Brighton Healthy Boston Coalition got involved. That was also how we partnered with the YMCA.
When I, as the director of the Y, heard that it was going to focus on the Thomas Gardner School, because the Gardner School had a sense of readiness and had a number of issues, not least of which was the language issue, 36 different languages spoken in the homes of the children. I thought, this is a place that I want to be. It will allow my organization, the YMCA, to do more and also grow and learn more. And I thought that would be exciting. It's been a tremendous four-agency partnership between the Thomas Gardner School, Boston Public School, the YMCA, Boston College, and Healthy Boston. It's allowed us to mutually accomplish our goals of helping kids.
Since becoming a full-service school, students at the GES have made substantial achievements. Attendance, academic performance, and standardized test scores have all improved dramatically.
The Gardner School has changed tremendously since we started the program. The feeling of the building is completely different. It's just a completely different atmosphere from the starting point, because it was not easy when we started and we told the teachers that we were going to have these programs. There's always tough issues that you have to overcome, and maybe some members of the staff were a little bit afraid to the uncertainties. What is it that we're doing and what is going to happen here? But now everybody's very comfortable and very positive about it, and I think that they just feel great about working here.
It's funny, I joke about how my kids think that their classroom is like their house. They feel very comfortable coming in and out, and they'll come up early. They just really have a sense of ownership in the school. I think it's empowered parents. Before, they would be afraid to come to the school, and now with this extended services, parents are totally not afraid to come in and speak their mind and ask for help for whatever they need.
My daughter, Natalia, she comes to Thomas Gardner School, and she's in the 3rd grade. When she came here in the beginning, she didn't know how to read. As soon as we started the school, they decided to put her in after school.
Her plump fingers squeezed shut. "Mine," she said. "No, it's not yours." Willie picked up Penelope.
After a few months, Natalia was reading with no problems at all. And I thought that was unbelievable. That was great.
I think students are doing better academically, socially, physically, emotionally. In 1999, the MCAS scores, we were the 8th most improved school in Massachusetts for scores. We'd like to think that the after-school program and some of the services that we are providing are contributing to the academic enrichment of our students. I think the kids are healthier, we have less truancy, and I think kids are generally happier. They're getting their work done. More kids come to school with their homework completed. They have better social relationships, and they relate better to the school faculty and staff in a lot of ways.
As parent and student involvement have increased, the atmosphere of the school has changed.
When I describe the school, and people ask me what is your school like and what's the culture of your school? And I don't actually describe it as a school, it's more of a community. We're just as alive at 7:30 as we are at 12 o'clock, as we are at 3 o'clock, as we are at 6 o'clock. It's that the activity never stops. It's the building that never sleeps. There's always someone here to address their needs. There's constant communication, there's constant activity, and there's constantly structured things that the kids are taking place in that are actually benefiting their education.
The Gardner's success and the City of Boston's readiness to embrace this kind of new and innovative programming have led to a collaboration to expand the full-service model into the group of elementary schools around the Gardner. This initiative is known as Connect 5.
We're now 3 years into a project where we are looking to take the concept of the Gardner to build services and resources around a core of solid teaching and learning and expand that to the other 7 elementary schools in Alston-Brighton. And Alston-Brighton is known in the Boston schools as Cluster 5, so we call this project Connect 5.
If the Gardner's success is any indication, this group of schools will give legislators clear and compelling evidence that urban educational challenges are being addressed successfully and significant results can be achieved.
We have the objective results. We have everything there. We have urban difficulties being successfully addressed and measured objectively through the MCAS. This is where we're getting the bang for the buck. Somehow, we've got to structure our funding mechanism to nurture this, to encourage it, and to build it.
Golden intends to create a permanent revenue stream to fund these extended services statewide. Boston Mayor Thomas Menino actively supports access to after-school programming for all school-age children. Each year, more Boston public schools become community learning centers, making Boston fertile ground for the expansion of the extended services model.
There's a big movement right now to bring in after-school programs and to really get kids just doing something. But it's not enough just to say, okay, well, they're doing something and let's just stop there. It needs to be meaningful, it needs to be structured, it needs to have a relevance in their life, and it needs to continue over time. How do we fund this over time and make sure it's sustained? A lot of programs are one-year funding cycle, so we can do this program for a year, and then next year when the kids come back, there's nothing.
Now that we're into our 4th year, I don't think there is a day that goes by that we don't think, how do we keep this going? To run a program like we have at the Guest costs about $250,000 to $300,000 a year. It can be scaled down, it can be phased in, it can be ramped up.
If we didn't have the extended school service, it would be very chaotic. Number one, we'll have a lot of students out of school time at home alone, and it's not safe. When we have the extended school service, they have the safety net to be in, and the parents are feeling good about what they're doing because they're working, and without the extended school service, parents would really have a hard time, like working and wondering, what is my child doing? So we're helping parents and also the students when we have the extended services school.
It's not a project anymore, it's not an initiative, it's a different way of doing business. It's a different way of caring for children. It's a different way of having the school. When I think of the institution of Boston College and what they're contributing to the Gardner and how it's influencing not only what's happening for the children at the Gardner, but also that they're changing the way they train the future educators of America to see school reform and community schools and extended service schools as the way to do it. We're starting, maybe it is bold enough to say we're starting a revolution because that's what we're going towards. What's that contribution worth? I can't even put a figure on it. If you go to the Gardner, the school is, some might say it's chaotic, but it's a cacophony of noise, it's a ballet of movement. It has a culture of joy. Kids want to be there.
The Thomas Gardner Extended Services School is proof that urban educational challenges can be successfully met by addressing non-academic barriers to learning. The school is at the forefront of a national movement, a movement supported by vision, by grants, by private funding, and by the hope that the voting public will support initiatives which successfully narrow the gap between urban and non-urban schools.
Like Jackson, this math is like hard, but then it gets to be like easy. I like it though. School is fundamental.
Yes,
I know, it's so good, like we get the chance to learn and all types of jumps. I just want to use the scissors. Exactly. That looks straight. It's my new I really have to stop hanging out.
Okay, about 5 more minutes.
One half. Then do 3 6 and 2 4 is.
Boy, you late.
Oh man, I thought this came up with a new curriculum.
Yeah, just like you did in that reading. Yeah, just don't use this one.
This one's good.
No, this is good. Oh yeah. Look at this. Look at this.
This one? 2/3. This 2/3.
The thing is, this is screwed.
But this is the same as this, except it just has the one side.
Won't this be a half of this though?